What do you think I should do about that?
Leave them.
I have no. It's always nice to blame the state.
I'm not blaming the state.
I could see the look on her face. Yeah, she can't do it.
And what you're saying, sir, but there was nothing out there. It was just some other poor guy that was being pulled over.
Well, let's try to help you, okay?
Yeah, no, this is between my son and I. Old school family and whatever this is.
Counsel Susanna Cotter, a public defense attorney for the city, is in court representing the defendant who was charged with aggressive panhandling. The defendant has been in court on several occasions and has several dispositions regarding his conduct.
In this case, he was at the intersection of Darren's and Washington Streets, and according to an impartial witness, police observed the subject banging on car windows that were stopped at the red light at Darren's and Washington.
He was flipping off and using profanity toward female drivers, and his conduct was both threatening and aggressive. He was charged again with aggressive panhandling. Why would you even decide to threaten someone for no reason? Judge Frank asked Inspector Quinn what he thought he should be fined. He stated that he should be charged $20 because he's been to court so many times he could even pull one off of the older records to try and find it.
Fumi's probably been in this courtroom probably 9 times within the last 3.5 months. There was an arrangement made with the defender's office that we were attempted to work with him to get him into some treatment program, but apparently that fell through for lack of insurance.
According to Inspector Quinn, the court has several times allowed the defendant to not serve time because of the time of the day he gets apprehended. He spends 15 to 20 hours in the cell block, but due to lack of treatment, the city's going to start asking for some time at the ACL. Judge Frank questioned how he pleads. The counsel replied that he was pleading nolo.
Tuesday, he was here. He was also here Friday morning. Friday morning is when he agreed to do 2 weeks minimum of inpatient alcohol treatment instead of time at the ACI. I spent a good portion of the morning trying to get him placed. They didn't have him with insurance, so nobody would take him.
He was willing and it didn't fall through, not because he wasn't willing to go. She doesn't believe he deserves to be in the courtroom. She believes he should be in the district court where there are social workers on staff. She also stated that it's quite understandable that it's hard, but what he gets charged with here in court doesn't really translate to the district court, and that's a problem.
I understand the city's frustration with Fumi, but this is going to keep happening. And I say all this to just try to mitigate the sentence. He does plead nolo. I do acknowledge that right now he has 2 cases open within the last 4 days.
If cases keep getting open because of him, I don't think he'd ever leave. Staying in the cell block for long hours isn't something he should be doing. He does need help, but there's really no one that we can blame for his behavior but him. She acknowledged that the cases that were open in the last 4 days were due to lack of access on their part. Well, is it really the state's fault?
Motorist who was being threatened and harassed by him. This is not an isolated incident. As Inspector Quinn has indicated, he has been there several times. And we've heard the same argument several times.
Putting that into consideration, the judge decided he was going to be sending him to the ACL for 5 days, and if he comes back again, it's going to be 10 days, and it's going to continue adding up by 5 days. But in the meantime, help would be given for him, not like it's something he has to do, but he has obligations to protect the public instead.
Both cases?
I'm going to serve him concurrently,
Okay.
5 days. Now, he's getting a break because I can sentence him to 30.
I know that.
All right. But I think we have to send him a clear message that the days of him coming in here, we say, okay, he served the night in jail, we're going to give him a break. Right. Those days.
I think that was a pretty fair judgment. I mean, looks like that was the only way to set him straight. Do you think that was a fair judgment? Let us know. Mr. Johnson was charged with operating a motor vehicle under conditions that would require reduced speed. It appears to have happened on Board and Somerset Street at 2 o'clock in the afternoon, according to Judge Frank, but Mr. Johnson disagreed. He stated that it was 2:15 in the morning and not in the afternoon. He also mentioned that it wasn't on Somerset as they were at Portland.
I believe that they didn't have anything else to do. They was already stopping someone else. And when I went by them, for some reason or not, I'm in the Dunkin' Donut line ordering a hot tea and I'm being pulled over while I'm in the drive-thru.
You were in the drive-thru?
That's correct, sir.
Oh.
Judge Frank questioned whether or not he got his coffee and if he got any for the officer. He told him he'd gotten it, but he didn't get any for the officers. Well, maybe that was why they weren't too happy with him. He should have done better. It's 2 o'clock in the morning. The best he could have done was get coffee and some donuts for officers that have been working overnight.
Trouble with this. Inspector Quinn, I don't think there's a police report on this.
Your Honor, the only thing I can determine, I mean, it doesn't help prosecution's case, but I do believe the motorist that he said it was Portland, and the officer wrote some.
It's clear the officers made a mistake with the location. He was beginning to sound kind of aggressive. Judge Frank had to ask him to calm down. It had been easier for the judge to ask him to come back the next morning, whether or not he pleaded guilty. Then he and the police officers would be present and their testimonies would be heard, but due to how compassionate Judge Frank is, he's trying to avoid that and be fair with everybody.
As soon as I see conditions requiring reduced speed, right, I know that there are certain standards in the statute that the city must prove. And I frankly don't see them being able to prove that, and I'm not going to force you to come back.
Thank you, sir.
Well, the case was dismissed. Yet another reason why we need more judges like Judge Frank. He never ceases to be amazing. On to our next case. This lady started out asking for an interpreter, but according to the judge, she happens to speak better English than the interpreter, so there was a possibility she wasn't going to be needing that. She was charged with 2 red light violations on Park in Pleasant Valley on February 29th.
The light is yellow, it's red, and there you go. There's no question about that. Wait a minute, we're going to see the other one. The other is on Branch and Charles, which is 7-6.
Looking at the second footage, the light went from yellow to red and she clearly went through the red light. She also has a parking ticket on George Street that she paid. He dismissed the parking ticket and asked the interpreter to ask her if she had anything to say about the red lights.
Fue mi novio y él lo pagó ya. Y el de la Valley fue mi hija. Que por eso yo vine, porque no estoy trabajando y no lo...
The one on Branch Avenue, she said it was her boyfriend, and she said she paid. He paid.
No, you didn't pay
He
it.
paid them. No, no lo pagó.
No ha llegado el pago.
She explained that she had sent the money through the mail the day before and the other violation was by her daughter. Her boyfriend had paid for the ticket on Branch Avenue. He stated that he was going to leave that open until they got the check or else she'll be coming back. He also stated that he wasn't going to charge her $85 for her one her daughter went through.
Coming back.
She said that she's not working right now and she wants to know if you can reduce the other one for
I'm
her.
going to put her on a payment plan.
Te van a poner un plan de pago entonces.
Actually, how old is her daughter?
¿Qué edad tiene tu hija?
20 años.
She's 20.
Judge Frank thought her daughter could pay for it, but she explained that her daughter had just started working.
This ticket, Lisa, I have open here. Don't dispose of that ticket where I have open, because she said her boyfriend sent the check in yesterday. Don't hold your breath waiting for that check. All right, it's $85.
Okay.
The other ticket is open.
85.
A motorist's mom reveals how much she hates her daughter's boyfriend. The ticket appears to be her daughter's and not the mother's. Her mother is working, but she's not, so she's basically missing work and overtime for her $30 ticket. The story had better be worth it.
My boyfriend had court. So he had asked me to show up for him, to be there, to bring him home and stuff. So where I parked, it was on Brown Street, which it says here.
It was for the Superior Court, and according to her, there was no sign that said no parking or anything like that, as it was a residential area. She parked in front of someone's house because she felt she wasn't going to be in court that long. It appears that her mother doesn't like her boyfriend at all, and she doesn't plan on it either.
My boyfriend,
Oh, I
but
was going to ask you. I was going to ask if she knows that you don't like her boyfriend.
I'm
she
very-
kno-
I know.
knows.
I know she doesn't. But I feel as though I'm old enough to pick who I date. But it is.
Well, it's pretty awkward when your mother doesn't like your boyfriend. She's been with this guy in question for about 2 years. Her mom stated that he was actually living with them, but she had thrown him out the day before because she believes he's no good. She went as far as saying that she could have killed him. Okay, well, it's quite clear now that she really dislikes him. I'm kind of curious to know what he did to make her dislike him so much.
She loves you so much that she won't kill him.
Yeah, I know she means well, so I'm not going to argue with her, but.
I don't know. I don't know anything but what's going on, but as a general rule, I think you should listen to your parents.
Well, he's got a point on that one. Most of the time, they see what we don't see. The judge explained that she was right. She was indeed on Brown Street, and there was one parking sign at the bottom of the hill, which was not a proper notice. There should be at least 3 signs on that street, but there was only one, which most people wouldn't see.
Yeah, I'm sure you did. I'm sure you did. All right, the matter is dismissed. Good luck to both of you.
Thank you
Thank
very
you.
much.
Good luck.
A motorist tries to butter up the judge. The fact that she started out with buttering him up shows she knows him well, and hopefully it doesn't go to waste. We all know that she steadily won Judge Frank's heart even before the case started, so let's find out how far her buttering skills can take her.
It's going to be tough for me to take a.
Yeah.
It's going to be tough for me to find this woman. Right?
I'll do it for you, Your Honor.
I've been having a tough couple of days. Anything else you want to tell me to make me feel good?
Yeah, you such a, and the wisdom you have, I pray that all judges will have that wisdom. I'm telling you.
She was charged with parking in a prohibited area. She immediately stated that she never even parked, she just stopped. She was in the car trying to pick up something and a man walked up to her, handed her a ticket. Judge Frank asked Inspector Kerrigan if he believed she was telling the truth. He explained that he believed she was stopped.
The threshold question that I have to decide in my mind is whether or not you're telling the truth. If I come to the conclusion that you're telling the truth, I'm going to dismiss the case.
Okay.
I believe you anyway.
Yeah.
After what you said about me, I'll believe anything you say.
Yeah.
Due to the fact that she was in the car when she was ticketed, the matter was dismissed. Well, I guess buttering him up in the beginning helps. Now the million-dollar question is, would it always help? In an unusual burst of anger, Judge Caprio lectures a mother about not holding her son accountable for his actions. She appears to have been before the court on a previous occasion. She stated that it was her son, but it was on her registration.
The motor vehicle was booted. It was before me.
Oh yes, it's got a lovely hat.
I only find I charged $140,
That is what my son said. Yes.
and $100 was due to remove the boot, and the balance of $40 was due 3 years.
She stated that her son had told her about it as he came on her behalf, as she couldn't because of her health. Judge Frank stated that he never paid the $40 even after he gave him a break. She told the court that she just found out that he never did.
Exit from the driveway and
How old is your son?
Well, then he was 21, full of vinegar, and he still is. He's 24.
He's 24 years old. Does he work?
Yes.
All right, so we can help you pay for these tickets.
Why does she have to pay for tickets if he's actually working and old enough to pay for it himself? Sometimes you really have to give them some responsibility. She explained that her husband passed away 7 years ago and life has not been easy, but regardless, she'd be paying for the tickets.
I've been a little tough on you. Just relax. All right. Just relax. I'm really not trying to be mean.
No. This is personal. This is
Just listen to me.
this is personal, not anything to do with this.
I understand. I'm not trying to be mean to you. I'm really not.
No,
right? I was just trying to
this is.
She insisted that it had nothing to do with him, but Judge Frank felt sorry as he thought he'd been too tough on her. He explained that he was just trying to give friendly advice. He also stated that he understands the relationship between parents and kids can be a little different.
It was personal, right? How are you coping with it, okay?
Not well. Not well. This too shall pass.
Maria, is there something we can do to help you?
Bring my husband.
I feel really bad for her, so Judge Frank stated that if he could wave a wand, he definitely would do that for her. She told the court that she's disabled and she used to work for the health department and she did that for 25 years. Judge Frank stated that the full fine is a $100 boot fee and $110 for the tickets, which is $210 in total.
Funds from the Philomena Fund, as I indicated earlier, from funds from all over the world, from people who want to help, people that are in need. You are in need. I hope you not need that much longer. I hope things turn around. I hope they get brighter for you. Hope you have an opportunity to smile.